Thanks once again for passing by the channel. If you like the content, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe, share the video if you enjoyed it, if you felt it was useful. I also have an Instagram page, you see the link down there. It's in the description, go and give it a follow. So let's get into this now. I watched an interview with Eddie Hearn on TalkSport last night, and during which he was having, obviously, his discussion about the upcoming rematch between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. We're now into fight week, so everything's kind of ramping up. We're hearing kind of this, we're hearing that. Now, Eddie Hearn said before that he wanted Tyson Fury to win this fight. I think he might have even picked him to win this fight before. And he said that one of the reasons why is because he knows himself that if Tyson Fury does win this fight, and say there is no trilogy, that the Fury-Joshua fight can be made. It's a lot easier to be made than if Wilder wins, because we've seen what goes on with PBC and Al Heyman, unwilling to go and cross the street, as they say. So Eddie Hearn said that in previous interviews, but in the TalkSport interview that I seen, he's gone back on that, and he says that actually he's rooting for Tyson Fury, but he's picking Deontay Wilder to win this fight purely because he's heard that Tyson Fury's been having not a great camp. Well, it's been a bad camp, that he's been a bit off in it, just stuff like that. Now, two things come to mind when I hear that. One is that could that be what Team Fury want? Getting stories out there that, he had a bad camp, that he had this, to kind of make Team Wilder almost get even more confident that they might fight reckless. Because, especially someone like Team Wilder, okay? Look at them in the first fight. They thought Fury was a dead man. They thought he was finished. So they went out there, well, Wilder did, and he fought very recklessly. Okay, because he thought, okay, this isn't going to be hard. I'm going to get rid of this guy, a couple of rounds, and it'd be easy. Obviously, it wasn't as easy. So now going into this fight, he knows it's not going to be as easy. I'm going to have to be on my guard. I'm going to have to be a bit sharper. I can't be just reckless. But maybe Team Fury are thinking, if we can get word out that I'm having a bad camp, maybe they'll start to think, you know what, actually, if he's having a bad camp, maybe this will be easy. Maybe we will be able to fight the way we did in the first fight. Obviously not that reckless, but maybe they're hoping that Wilder will be a bit more reckless, and in that sense then Tyson Fury can be like, oh no, I'm razor sharp, and go pick up a points decision, stuff like that. We are hearing that Fury is heavier for this fight, that he's going to try and stand toe to toe with Wilder and use his strength over him. Again, I think that's a bad idea. I think in spots it could make sense. Maybe if he was leaning on him now and again just to tire him out, yeah, but I don't think he should stand in front of him, put it like that. Now, let's say for argument's sake that these rumours, this is what Eddie Hearn's saying, that Tyson Fury has had a bad camp. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to lose this fight. And obviously they're not going to say it in the week of the fight, this camp's been bad. They're just not going to do that. Okay, they'll probably do it after the fight, or maybe even a few days after the fight. But if I think back to like some of the history of boxing, there have been plenty of fighters who've had very, very bad camps and have done brilliant in some of their biggest fights. The one that comes to mind, and actually it was an anniversary there of one of the biggest upsets in the history of boxing, was James Buster Douglas. When he fought Mike Tyson, okay, he, I believe, had the flu leading up to that fight. His wife was, in a very bad way with an illness. His mother died, 3 weeks before the fight. Coming into that camp, he was, 300 pounds nearly, so he had to lose all that weight. So for someone like James Douglas, that camp could not have been any worse. He's losing weight, he's losing family, he's getting sick. Having said that, if you go back and look at some of the reports, sparring partners were saying that during that camp, James Douglas was just smashing sparring partners. But still, he had all that to contend with, and he goes over and he beats the living crap out of Mike Tyson. And that's someone who had a bad camp. He had everything that could have went wrong in that camp did go wrong for Buster Douglas. And he went over to Tokyo and he beat the crap out of Mike Tyson. So just because you have a bad camp doesn't mean that, you're screwed for the fight. It sometimes actually having a camp like that where everything is going wrong, it focused Buster Douglas. He was focused on Mike Tyson. That's all he could think about. And he had the fire. It's the only time we ever did see fire in Buster Douglas. And he had a bad camp for that fight. So a bad camp doesn't necessarily mean that, all's dead in the water. And at the end of the day, we're never going to know for sure if it was a good camp or a bad camp. They're not going to, no fighter is ever going to come like to the week of a fight at a press conference and be like, do you know what? This was a bad camp. I had all these things go wrong. You're just giving your opponent an advantage, especially if they had a good camp. So I don't think we'll know until after the fight. This fight's intriguing. I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm very keen to see what's going to happen. Very keen to see what way Tyson Fury fights, because we know how Wilder's going to come out. We know that, especially when he fights someone who moves, someone who keeps it long. We know Wilder, he can jab. He's got a pretty good jab, Deontay Wilder, now, to be fair, but we know he will just look to try and set up the right hand. He's not going to go balls to the wall. He's just going to look to try and set up the right hand. But it'd be interesting to see how Fury fights. Will he just go with the tactics of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and kind of fight the same way he did last fight, obviously a bit more circumspect about what's coming back? Or will he actually try and trade with Deontay Wilder? Now, I'm going to touch on this more so during the week when I give my keys to victory and prediction video. So I'm going to touch on that a bit more during the week. But from what I'm gathering from what Eddie Hearn said, if Tyson Fury, we don't know if he had a bad camp or not. If he had a bad camp, we probably won't know until after the fight. There's some of the footage I've seen of Tyson Fury, training, skipping on the pads. He looks pretty sharp to me. To me, he looks quite sharp. So if he is having a bad camp, he's doing a good job hiding it. So those are my thoughts on this. Let me know what you think down below. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. Let me know your comments down below. Do you think Tyson Fury had a bad camp? And even if he did, do you think it'd really matter? Do you think that if the camp was so bad, it's going to make a blind bit of difference? I think he's good enough that he could beat Wilder. A lot of people would say he beat Wilder the first time and he was only 60%. He could have had the best camp in the world, but he still wasn't the Fury he needed to be. So do you think that we're at the top of his game Fury? Near, probably not quite there, but we're at near top of his game Fury. Do you think a bad camp is really going to stop him? Let me know down below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, of course, if you did. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, I will talk to you after.